What's up, everybody? Your resident baseball nerds, Andrew and Taylor, here today to look into an interesting contract incentive that we're going to help Edwin Encarnación reach. Andrew, how are you?
I'm good. Combined episode. I think the last time I was on Digital Junto, it was me and Jordan claiming that our episodes were better than yours. So I'm glad we've overcome that, and we've now moved on to where we're bringing our powers together.
Yeah, no doubt to say competition is fierce in the office these
I would
days.
say it's a little tense.
Areas, ping pong, golf, champ. But yeah, so today you and I have we're both fans of the Effectively Wild podcast, which is now a Fangraphs podcast. And for any of you baseball nerds out there, I'm sure you appreciate that. And the other day, I was driving, listening, and I listened to, I think it was maybe Jeff Sullivan or whoever was on that day, talking about a new feature in Edwin Encarnación's recent contract with the Cleveland Indians.
Yeah, Encarnación is first baseman DH, super slugging power hitter, really good kind of elite level hitter in the American League. And here's the contract incentive. What happened was he signed a deal for $20 million a year or whatever it was for a couple years, but he had an extra incentive in his contract where if the Cleveland Indians can get their home attendance to 2 million people this year, he gets an extra $1 million in his contract guaranteed, or
right.
Given, not guaranteed.
So us, as always looking to seize an opportunity, we thought, what if we reached out to Edwin Encarnación and said, Edwin, here's the plan. You've got this opportunity for an extra $1 million. Give us 600,000 of it, and we will guarantee you that $1 million. And so the way we thought about this was like, hey, he could roll the dice, hope the Indians and their generally terrible attendance magically rise above this 2 million mark.
It's worth noting they were like third to last in baseball.
Yeah, they 28th out of 30th last year in attendance, ahead of only the Oakland A's.
Who have the worst
Shout out
stadium
to Joey
in baseball.
DeClercq there, and the Tampa Bay Rays, who
have the other worst stadium in baseball.
Yeah. So they've got a long road to hoe here, but I think that we can help. I think
so. So we should probably frame the problem here a little bit in terms of just how big of a jump Edwin needs for the Indians to get from where the Indians were last year up to 2 million. The Indians, first of all, it's worth noting, won last year's division, went to the World Series.
Right, so coming off a great season.
Yeah, and it was a really thrilling World Series, like an all-time World Series.
Yep.
He's this new guy. They're doubling down. They've got a really good roster. Right now, the Cleveland Indians are projected to win their division, and there's a reason I'm saying that, which is that teams that are better get more attendance. That's really clear. People have done really in-depth studies on this sort of thing. But in terms of how much attendance increase they need, last year, the Cleveland Indians had just under 1.6 million people attend Indians games. The year before, they were at 1.4. At the height that they've ever had, in the early 2000s, when they had a juggernaut team, they were over 3 million. Now, the city of Cleveland has shrunk since then. So
we've got a decreasing population in the city, which is a problem we aren't going to fix today.
Yeah, that's up to the president or something like that to solve that problem. But anyway, 1.6 million, they've got to get 400,000 more fans. Now, we think just by the nature of Cleveland being better this year, they're going to solve some of that problem.
Right, so we're going to give them 1.8 million on their own accord, World Series run, excitement in the city, big NBA championship. We're going to give them an extra about 200,000 fans on their own, which may or may not be generous, but to give you a context of how far they have to go, in comparison, the Dodgers are number one at over 3.7 million people on the year. The Cleveland Indians are averaging 19,000 fans a game. Their stadium, I believe we looked it up, seats 35,000 about. So most of the time there's a lot of free seats at Jacobs Field.
Yeah.
Or at Progressive Field now it's called, sorry.
Yeah, and so what they need to essentially do is, with 81 home games a year, they need to add just under 2,500 more fans a game.
Yep.
That's what they ultimately need to do. They have the capacity for it, that's no problem. So here's the question for us as marketers. We kind of look at this the same way that we look at any other marketing problem, which is you need to acquire customers.
Right,
in
we're
some way or
reverse
another.
Engineering a goal.
So if you're Edwin and you want to get your $1 million incentive, you can just simply do kind of the thing where you just sort of hope it works out by having a good product. That's good. The Indians should be a good product. Yeah. But why not also try and go out and pay to make it happen? So like we said, we are giving ourselves about $600,000.
Right. This is our pitch, Edwin,
money.
to you to come out to Cleveland and help you get this bonus, and I think along the way grow your personal brand and connection with the fans.
Yeah, 100%.
So like we do with most of our clients, we ask them, hey, give us your e-commerce revenue goal and we're gonna help you build a pathway to get there. And so for us, we know our goal here is an extra 200,000 fans, over 81 home games. And so we're gonna break this down just like we do with a client, and we're gonna go, hey, what do we need to do from a user experience standpoint? What do we need to do from a customer acquisition and advertising standpoint? How do we leverage influencers? What kind of ad products should he create? And we're gonna build a little plan here for the Indians to get to 2 million fans.
What I like about this thought project is that it really is the same as like any other problem that we have. Like,
Right.
you know, it's very different in one sense than trying to drive traffic to an e-commerce
Right.
site and convert customers. But in another respect, it's really not different at all. So let's
Totally.
talk first about the user experience, right?
Yes.
We would look at a website in most of our work and think about what's happening there. Well, what about the on-field or the at-the-game experience?
Right. So what do
for
fans?
a Cleveland
What's the
fan?
value proposition? They come to the game. What is the experience that they're having, and how do we improve that for them in a way that makes them either want to come back or drives more people to come in? And so one of the things. So I had a tiny stint as a baseball player, right? And one of the things that we know about baseball is that there is a lot of standing around. In particular, before the game, right? Players show up usually about 3 hours before the game. They sort of do this sort of pseudo stretch. They take a little BP. They play catch, they kind of wander around, they go shake their friends' hands out in center field from the other team. And there's a massive opportunity because every kid ages 5 to 17 is standing on that railway begging for someone to come over and hang out with them.
So if you're Edwin Encarnación, the first thing you have to do is take the fact that you are already at the game.
Yes.
You're gonna take your BP and stretch a little bit and mostly be ready to go for the game.
Right.
You need to take that time you already have there
Yes.
and leverage it for better fan experiences. So
Yes.
we've got a couple ideas here. One of them is we need to create a specific fan seating section
Yes.
somewhere in the stadium. Let's call it like the Encarnación zone or the Parrot
Clever,
zone,
yeah.
you know, or something like
Parrot
that.
Bay.
Right? Yeah, Parrot
Maybe
Bay.
go get a sponsor. Oh boy, we just stumbled on something there.
Oh, we're gonna fund some more of this just like that.
Yeah, so I think that
That's the kind of ideas we just have off the top of our head.
if you think about like places that do this really well, right? Like there's King Felix, what's his
King's Court.
The King's Court out in the outfield whenever he pitches in Seattle. There was in Oakland, they broke up like the whole stadium had different parts for different players in that one run. Like,
Yeah, my favorite all time is the Padilla Flotilla, which is Vicente Padilla's fan section. It wasn't very big, but I really
exactly.
enjoyed it.
So whenever fans feel a motivation, one, it creates an increase in desire to sit in a specific seat, to have an increased experience besides just attending the game. You're now a part of this experience. So imagine the whole first baseline, the Edwin Encarnación zone. There's a stuffed parrot on every seat that you leave there when you come, and every time he comes up, you're putting it on your arm and you're waiting for him to hit a bomb, because if you guys have ever seen it, we should probably, Corey, link up a video clip of him running with his arm out because he runs like he's holding a parrot.
Somebody made a video of a parrot resting on his arm when he runs the bases.
Right, so
And-
leverage this.
Yeah, and so you make some kind of thing around that, and everybody gets the stuffed parrot that you can only get in
Yes.
the Parrot Bay or whatever it is.
Exactly.
And you're in good shape right there, just creating some more fan experience.
Right, and I think every day after you play catch, Edwin, or get there early, come out, bring your phone, get on Snapchat, and take selfies with kids. Go up and down the line, shake hands, sign autographs. Make it known for kids that if they show up early, it's going to pay off. And
maybe especially if they're in that Encarnación zone. Or
exactly.
Whatever, right?
Come, walk the line, take pictures with kids, send them shout outs, record messages for their Twitter, whatever, their Snapchat, whatever you can do to ensure that, like, get there early and come to first base, and you're going to have a once in a lifetime experience as a young fan.
So what else? Anything else user experience wise besides creating that kind of a?
I mean, you're the
space,
first.
greeting
If
people?
he's playing first base, he's going to DH a lot. But one of the things that you get the opportunity to do is, like, you catch the ball to end the inning a lot. Make sure every ball ends up in the stands.
Absolutely.
There's no reason not to, right? So I think just thinking about how you make, like, baseball is a unique experience, right? Baseball and the NBA have this unique access to fans where they can see their faces, they're close to the field, you can touch them. Like, as an athlete, it doesn't take a lot to really make players' days, or make little kids' days, or fans' lives by having a little extra encounter with them.
The principle here is, like, at the user experience, absolutely delight the user.
Exactly.
Make it as
Just like on your
enjoyable
website.
and as good of an experience as possible.
Yes, we always talk about magic. How do you give them a little unexpected piece of magic? And I think as a player, it doesn't take a lot of effort to do that.
Yeah, because everybody knows what you get when you're going to a baseball game. Change it up a little bit. Give them a little something
Totally.
extra.
Cool. So now let's talk about other ways that we can drive people to the stadium to give them this amazing experience that you've created.
All right, so this is where I think we see a huge amount of opportunity. We've talked, you've talked, Taylor, a couple times recently about these Ads, we've talked about, Jordan and I talked about lowering your cost per click by activating influencers with iPhone quality videos, running those as ads on Facebook. If you're Edwin Encarnación here, here's what you got to do. First things first, record yourself regularly, find an audience of people, build lookalikes, whatever it is. This is where, Taylor and I are happy to do this work for you, Edwin. To create some kind of a core audience of customers, and every week on Facebook ads, be putting out a new, super fun, super interesting, social purposed video with a specific landing page that we can do. That's what you talked about, I believe, on the last Digital Junto, right? Where we now build this whole experience digitally so that we are advertising at incredibly cheap CPMs to get people to the seats. Put the Encarnación zone in front of people, take it to them with your the fact that you are a superstar in the area.
Yeah, and this is where you can add in little hidden gems, right? So if you're Edwin, get on a video and say, hey, tonight we're playing the Royals. Big in-division game, come out, first 7 fans, I'm gonna give out a pair of batting gloves. Get your tickets, come in, drop it in, we're gonna advertise, put $50 a day behind this little video content, 5-mile radius of the city, send it out, drive it to a landing page to buy tickets, get kids in there, get fans in there, and give them some sort of special interaction from you. The other thing I think that's interesting for him is this is a multicultural player that can appeal to a lot of people. Do one in Spanish, do one in English, right? I even think Ohio has become sort of this interesting multicultural center for a lot of people that are coming in. Even some of the refugee stuff, a lot of it's happening in Ohio. Figure out ways to bring in an interesting multicultural, leverage the fact that you have that heritage. You could do a lot of interesting things to play on that.
And you just nailed it with targeting, right? Just hit the radius around the stadium as your core audience, and you are in really good shape for really, really cheap. That's going to be a very small portion of that budget, honestly, and you're going to be in awesome shape there. Do special giveaways, nail the landing page, all those. But if you're Edwin Encarnación, you're the first baseman for the Indians, you also have another opportunity, which is relationships with other people around you.
So influencers.
Go ahead and grab Andrew Miller, other Cleveland teammates first and foremost. Have them do the same thing. I'm sure they're happy to do it. It'll take them 3 minutes to record a video. But who is the main influencer in Cleveland to activate?
Lebanon James. I think you have to get LeBron involved.
Lebanon James.
Yeah, that's what I like to call him because, well, anyways. But I think you have to think about how you leverage LeBron, Kyrie, those guys. They love to support Cleveland. How can you build a throne by first base and say, hey, LeBron, this seat's yours. I'll pay for it anytime you want to come out, right? Get Kyrie there. Get them to bring fans. Have them make videos for you. Figure out how you leverage influencers just like a brand would to help you support activation for the city. Forget just throw out the first pitch. Have LeBron sit in the stool on the right field line and catch foul balls and warm you up every inning. I don't know. Figure out some way to leverage.
Play some kind of King's Court music when he goes to take his seat.
Yeah,
so everybody focuses on it and
then
whatever.
The games he's not there, give away a fan an opportunity to come sit in the King's seat. Right?
There's lots of ways. Email addresses for so cheap doing that.
It's another great call is collecting email addresses here. So influencer marketing. We talked about video ads, right? You know what this is going to generate? A ton of PR if you start doing this. What do we know is another great ad product?
PR.
Right. So as soon as Bleacher Report and House of Highlights and all these other people start writing about these funny things that you're doing, guess what you're doing? You're taking those ads and now you're running them as additional ad products. Boom, Edwin. Boom.
That's, I think, just the beginning of a few ideas in just a couple of minutes, and I think there's a lot more that we could definitely come up with.
Right.
But again, the key is, this is the same problem as everybody else has. How do you get the right amount of people who are going to convert to the experience that you want, make money off of it? Edwin, we're the guys to help.
Mission Magic Money. Oh, the other thing you could do is go hire the guy that runs the Kings Twitter account and get him to run your personal Twitter account during games.
Just go get the guy who does Cleveland's. Cleveland's is amazing.
Yeah, both of those guys, and have them work for you in the NBA offseason, right?
Just like that.
Look, Edwin, this is doable. We'll get you that $1 million. Hey, if not, Cleveland Indians hit us up. We'd be happy to grow that attendance.
No problem at all.